Sorry for the fact that this is a cell phone video and it's all going to be one take and it's going to involve the dog walking back and forth and pacing, probably, of course, because that's all he knows how to do because he's a fucking pit bull. But so anyway, I'm just taking this video because I really love this truck and I really do think that anybody that has anything they enjoy the hobby in any way, you got to get yourselves one of these because I've had so much fun with it, and it's just, I mean, you can thrash on it and you just don't care. Um, so the main thing with this video, the reason why I'm doing this is because there are quality issues that, anything's gonna have them, and they're a lot better than your average Chinese truck. Like right now, I have a Remo Hobby. Why is this not fucking focusing? I have a Remo Hobby, and it's just the basic brushed version, and it came broken. It came with the rear diff broken. It came with, also after I fixed the rear diff, immediately thereafter, the central drive shaft, which is made of plastic, because that's fucking stupid idiots, but whatever. It snapped because it's made of plastic, of course. And I bought the other plastic part, which is supposed to be upgraded, but that comes from China and it takes like a month, and it's just sucky. So the cool thing about this is you don't have to do any of that. The parts are on Amazon. You gotta look a little bit, you gotta maybe type in Hosim 9125. The differential that I just bought it was Soyee, Soyee. I don't know why, but anyway, you might have to do a little bit of looking, but the parts are there, and they only, it takes 4 days for them for them to come. Um, so most of the parts that you need, you can get from America, shipped from America or whatever, but some of them are probably not going to be that way, like the ESC. I don't know. A few of these things I'm pretty sure you can't find. Maybe the body. I'm not sure. But so anyway, this thing just finally conked out, I think. It 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 just randomly stopped going, and I was going full throttle, and then it wasn't going full throttle anymore. Here, hold on. I'm gonna prop this up with my knees here and try and do that there. And I'm not a YouTuber by any means, but hey, you guys might as well. Shit. You guys might as well know about some of the quality things with this, because it is an amazing quality truck, and I've had it for like, I don't know, months now. Hasn't been all that long, maybe a month or two, but the way that I beat up these RCs, I go hard. So this thing's been jumping and tumbling, and parts have been going flying, and it's been doing good. So, well, the only part that's been going flying really is this and the body pins for it. So obviously, as you can see, I gave up on that. Just started using duct tape. And the thing is, you can tell, like, this body has been through some serious shit. And the only thing is where it's ground along the pavement a little bit too much. Of course, it's not going to focus, stupid ass piece of shit. And I only got fucking whatever. Alright. I used my nose and that worked for a second, so hopefully you could see it at least. But there was that. Jesus Christ. How? Okay, that worked again. Alright. And then you can tell there's a little bit of distressing or stressed out plastic right there. Just where it's always a rough spot for body shells. But the body shell's been fine. No real cracks anywhere else. Yeah, no real cracks anywhere else besides that. And a little bit one right there. Oops. course, you can't see it. But yeah, just a little tiny, whatever. It's just a body shell, so it doesn't matter. But the thing is, it lasts really good, which is pretty cool. The only thing is, you're definitely going to be losing pins. So if you're going to be bashing it, you might as well just do duct tape from the start. It might work out a little bit better. And then when you just go to take it out and do some simple shit, then you actually have the pins for it. So I'll check this again. See if it actually works. It doesn't. So yeah, this thing finally bit the dust. And what I think happened is the ESC went haywire or something, because I run this on a 50C 3S LiPo. Yeah, that. And it's a lot for it. So, I mean, the second I started running it on this thing, it immediately spit out a differential. Didn't like that anymore. And, yeah, I had to do a little bit of repairs after that, but it wasn't big, wasn't major or anything. So anyway, it's been really good. The only thing that's broken on it has been I bent one of the rear dog bones, and what that did was it killed the differential when I put that on 3S. So it I mean, all that power, it was already bent, and I wound up wiggling that differential cup around right there. So it just spun the screw out, destroyed itself after the first run. So I bought a new dog bone on Amazon and a new differential. And then it was fine for a while. That's it. The other thing I did, I mean, also a 3S accident. I was going full speed, and then I ran into a thingy. Like, just, I don't know what the hell I ran into, but I ran into a thingy. And it just shattered one of the stock tires, which were crap anyway, and I planned to replace them, but I had to replace them before I wanted to. So I got these foam-filled ones on Amazon, which are actually like 118 millimeters, which are the perfect replacement for it. Unfortunately, I didn't check before I glued them, and they were all mounted the same direction. So now I can't really fix it. It doesn't affect the driving, but it affects my OCD a little bit. And then, of course, as you have to, I mounted the oil-filled shocks, which were only like $20 on Amazon. And I had to get the oil separately for those, so I got 50 weight oil in the shocks. And that's been doing really good for any kind of like high air. Like, it's really good. I mean, the dampening is extremely good on this fucking thing. Like, I don't know. Anyway, and then if you take a horrible landing, then it still doesn't really break. So that's also a cool thing mostly because of the new tires, they have so much give that if you land hard and you land wrong, then the tires kind of soak up so much of that impact that it doesn't really matter, and it doesn't break other parts that you don't necessarily want to break, like these thingies right here, the uppers, just parts that you can't really immediately fix with super glue or whatever. So the shocks have been doing all right. Of course, you have to drill in a tiny little hole right there on, I think it was only the backs that I had to, or no, yeah, I don't know. I think it might have only been the fronts that I had to drill into. And as you can tell, those little nubbins have broken off over time, so I just pushed them back. And this shock is bent, but it still works just fine. So, as you can tell, this is just a beater truck. I've been having fun with it. And it finally bit the dust. So, just trying to restart it. Yeah, I think it's done. So that was an ESC issue, I guess. It's not steering, but it will. No, now it won't. it was responding to throttle, but I think it was just a little bit too much juice for a tiny little RC, and I knew that that was a possibility when I ran it on a 3S like that. Um, so that's really the only thing bad about this is running it on 3S fucks shit up. But that's not even a big deal. If you buy this for your kid or something like that, then I mean, in stock form, it will never break, I don't think. I mean, yeah, it could if they ran full speed into something, but you have a. Right there, alright. You have a speed mode, low and high, and you can just pass it off to your kid, flip it into low, and then it'll be fine even if you are running it on 3S. The thing about it is, on low speed setting with this setup, it will run just as fast as stock. So it is a huge difference if you try and upgrade the batteries. Maybe don't go for a 50C. I think that's what might have been its downfall. But it really, I mean, it's ran so hard, so long, and I can't give this any negatives for what it is. The only negative that I can give it is I absolutely hate the chassis design. It's practical and it's functional, and it's good for like waterproofing shit that's not necessarily waterproof. Um, so I would be alright with taking it through puddles and stuff, and most of the reason for that is the tires are so far away from the body. And when you got the actual body on it, then none of that splashing around is necessarily going to get on the guts of the thing all that bad. So I mean, I don't really doubt that it is mildly waterproof. I have splashed it through a few puddles, but I'm not going to trust that all the way. Maybe the puddles are what screwed it up. I don't even fucking know, but it was doing great up until now. And yeah, so I mean, the chassis sucks. Taking it apart sucks. It really does. It's extremely time consuming. It's all just you got to open up the clamshell, and if you want to work on the back, then you have to. Actually, I'm not sure if you have to take apart the front. I don't think you do. Um, but it's a bitch to take apart the back because you got to deal with all the wires, and the motors come out with it too, and it's just a mess. It's an absolute mess, and I hate working on this thing, but it's doable, and the parts exist, and in stock form, they just don't expect you to ever break it, really. I mean, it really is um, overbuilt for a 1500 milliamp little 2S battery, but it's a little bit underbuilt for a 50C3S, I think. So if I buy another one, I'm not going to do that again. And I should buy another one because these tires are brand new. Some of these parts are brand new, but I don't know. I don't necessarily want to buy the $11 part because this thing's been through the shit. It's got the body shell all fucked up. I mean, this is great for spares just in case I need them. But I think at this point, kind of want a shiny new truck and just use all the other spares like the screws, because the shock screws like to bend. The ones that the shocks came with are garbage. So yeah, this is going to be great for parts, and then buy a new one, and there we go. So anyway, that's really, it doesn't break that bad if you run it on a 50C3S. It's not necessarily the smartest idea, but it does work, and I mean, just be careful with it, really. If you drive it nice, then it will probably be okay. It did overheat many times. I always stopped it, but I mean, it stopped itself because it overheated. Like every single time I ran it on these batteries, it would overheat, and that's the thing that makes me kind of want to almost consider not buying another one of these, because Xinlehong, I mean, there's a lot of brushless versions of shit like this now. Unfortunately, nothing this size. This isn't a 110. This is a 110, and this is right up next to it. So this is not a 110. This is bigger than your average 1/16th, or I mean, it's a weird one because it doesn't even really have a scale. It's just an odd truck. I mean, it's not a 110. I'd say it's maybe a 112.5. I mean, it's just a weird size, but so that makes it weird finding tires that don't look ridiculous on it. And I managed to find them, which is good. But anyway, not sure that I'm going to get one of these again because it's such a pain in the ass to work on. I can't necessarily run it that fast or really enjoy it tremendously because I mean, I don't know. I mean, you can beat on it and it takes it, but then it doesn't take it, and then you gotta tear it apart for fucking 2 hours. Um, I don't know. I mean, it's a great truck, but I think I might have to go brushless after this. I already got a little bit of taste for the brushless action, and I think that's what I'm gonna have to go for. Um, but eventually I'll probably get another one of these since I have all the parts for it now and shit. But anyway, that is the update on durability of the Xinlehong 9125 slash Hosim 9125. And I mean, it has been good, and I highly recommend buying one of these. I don't necessarily recommend running it on a 50C3S. Maybe try a 30C3S. I don't know. Maybe even just try a higher higher output 2S, like maybe a 4,000 milliamp or something. Actually, that's a little bit too heavy for it. There's really no good place for the batteries, as you can tell. And the stock battery doesn't even really go in the actual battery compartment. It does, but you got to really wiggle those wires around and put them in awkward positions. That's really not good for it. So I just put that cover on, poked a hole, and I always put my batteries on top. Even if I'm running stock, they always go on top because it's just a pain in the ass with the fucking the stock setup. But yeah, anyway, you should buy one of these, but just know that I don't know. Just don't do the things that I did to it. Anyway, you have fun, guys. I'm go and um see if I can throw this at a wall and maybe it'll work. Maybe. All right, peace out, dudes.